Hello, YouTube, and welcome to The Real Siberius. In this episode, I wanted to talk about what is my problem with LeBron James. Well, where do I even begin? As I mentioned in previous videos, I stopped watching the NBA in 1999 when Jordan retired. So I missed a lot. When I started watching the game again in 2020, I had a lot to learn. I had a lot of research to do on the game, on the rule changes, on its players, on the trends, and so on. I didn't live under a rock. I had obviously heard the name LeBron before I started watching basketball again. I heard a lot of things about him, some good, some bad. As a Jordan fan, I brushed it off because Jordan has always had positive and negative things said about him, and I prefer to form my own opinion. Dennis Rodman is my favorite player of all time, so I think that demonstrates I care more about what I think and not what other people think, because most people hated him. I remember one of the first 5 games that I watched in 2020 was a game with the Lakers. At this point in my rewatching, I was still unaware that they had removed hand checking and added the 3-second rule. I still believed that they had implemented COVID restrictions to the NBA and that that's where all of this space and distance was coming from in order to protect players. This made it really hard to watch the game. I was coming back after a really long hiatus, and I found it a little bit boring to watch. So much open space, the lack of defense, the endless 3-point shots. And I remember in this game, I believe it was in the first quarter, that LeBron flopped. This was my first time ever seeing him play. And he threw himself on the ground like a petulant child. He was on the ground for over a minute, like somebody had shot him dead. And I distinctly remember thinking to myself, was he even touched? That was my first impression of him. And first impressions are a lasting one, and this one stuck forever. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. I had just began re-educating myself on the game and the history of the game that I had missed, and I just kept finding evidence after evidence that he's not elite, he's not a star, and why in the hell is he being considered in the GOAT conversation? He's a joke. I was embarrassed for the league watching him play. The second thing that stood out to me was his complete lack of fundamentals. His footwork made me want to throw up in my mouth. The way he would cross over his legs instead of shuffling his feet or sidestepping just didn't make sense. His complete lack of a mid-range game, the way he absolutely abandoned his team on defense, leaving them playing 4-on-5 time after time after time. I remember I started to question myself. Was I misremembering the greatness of the game I used to love? Was I elevating my nostalgia into greatness when in reality it was mediocrity? I honestly had these thoughts. And so I had to go back and watch an old NBA game. And the game that I chose was the Bulls at the Supersonics on November 17th, 1990. This game is available on YouTube, and it's the whole game. I specifically chose this game because I was there. I watched that game live in person. It was the very first time that I got to see Jordan play, and I'll never forget that game as long as I live. I knew it would take me back to my love of basketball. Obviously, there would be nostalgia there, but I think it would make me remember the greatness of the game. And in doing so, I instantly knew that LeBron was a joke. I knew in the first few minutes of that game that LeBron could never pass the eye test, especially in comparison to Jordan. LeBron is not an all-time great. and he should never be considered as such. Why? Because he cheated the game. Super teams, team hopping, flopping, stat padding, fake injuries, collusion in trades, and one of the biggest ones to me, losing. You play the game to win. That's why sports exist. If winning wasn't the point, they wouldn't keep score. But they do, because that's why you play. And when you're the greatest loser of all time, you can't be an all-time great. That negates you from that conversation. I could go on with him throwing his teammates under the bus, with him making excuses and passing blame, never taking accountability. But everybody already knows all of those things. I only even made this video because the media, even in the off season, refuses to shut up about him. They glaze and simp like sycophants and lie to distort our reality in their feeble attempt to rewrite history. Well, you can't sell me on your snake oil. Your fake king isn't and has never been great. We are all very aware of who and what he is. But what sickens me the most is his fan base. You guys scare me in the same way Trump supporters scare me. You worship somebody that has proven time and time and time again that they're a snake, and yet you willingly and knowingly defend, praise, and subjugate yourselves to honor someone without honor, without integrity, without character. I think your fandom says more about you than it does about him, and we all have a lot of negative things to say about him. I want to love this game again. I want to love the players in this game again. I hope. I've heard a lot of LeBron fans say, well, you Jordan GOAT fans, you won't allow anyone else to ever be the GOAT. Well, I can tell you flat out, that is wrong. I would love for a player to come into the league that's so great that, quite frankly, he embarrasses Jordan in comparison. I don't think it'll ever happen, but I would love it. If I met a genie and could have 3 wishes, one of those wishes would be, please just bring back another great player, another killer, somebody else that's a competitor that wants to win at all costs and that will put in the work and show me things I've never seen and make me fall in love again with the game that I no longer love. I wish that would happen. I don't think it will. I don't think people want to work hard anymore. Anyway, all of that is a conversation for another video. If you made it to the end of this video, I certainly appreciate it. I also just want to say thank you to my subscribers. When I started this channel, I was genuinely surprised when I got my first subscriber. And that's not self-deprecation or self-hatred. That's genuinely not knowing if anyone has any interest in what I have to say. And so when you guys watch my videos, like my videos, and comment on my videos, especially when there's praise, it blows my mind. Not even because I don't think I have valid things to say or that I don't have interesting things to say. It just baffles my mind that other people are interested in hearing them. So I just want to say thank you. And as always, I want to give a shout out to the content creators that continue to inspire me to keep this channel going. Uncommon Sense, Angry Old Hoops, Self-Researched NBA Facts, 93's Sports and Fitness Rants, Uncut Hoops, Scap Attack, In Your Face Hoops, Eddie TV, King Speech Row, Goatcast Hoops. I just want to thank you guys too, because your content inspires me to create my own content. And I just want to say thank you. I'll catch you guys in the next one.